Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Roni Elias. Thanks for being on the show, Roni.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you on the show. Roni is the lead asset manager of TownCenter Partners, LLC. He has worked in litigation cases reaching over $9.5 billion in recovery, has managed a portfolio of over $520 million in assets, has been published in multiple law review journals, including but not limited to the NYU and many more. He's a current officer of the Federal Bar Association, ADR Division, and more. Roni, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you being on the show. Give the listeners a little more about what your focus is and what your business actually is.
Sure thing. We live in the very exciting world of litigation finance. So we help plaintiffs nationwide and overseas. The worst thing is to get sued and to deal with a lawsuit. So we step in, assist in funding that lawsuit. And if everything goes well, we recoup our initial investment plus a return. If things don't go well, no harm, no foul. We've funded that lawsuit and nothing is owed or due back. So we kind of try to assist the plaintiff in taking that financial burden and some of that stress off from a lawsuit.
Wow. So who's your typical client?
Our typical client, predominantly right now, we're doing a ton of real estate litigation. It could be anything, from, some type of breach of contract. But right now we've seen a major uptick in real estate litigation, which can be, from partner disputes, insurance disputes, and sometimes even dealing with cities or counties, not either giving some type of permit so you can build what you need to, or zoning issues. So we kind of step in and give that, financial firepower to get you across the hurdle, hopefully.
Okay, so if somebody sued me for something or whatever, my partner sued me or anything to do in the business, I might contact you all, maybe because I can't fund to protect myself or fight back. Is that right? I'm going to hire you all to help fund that.
We always yes, but one caveat to that: we always just fund the plaintiff. So if someone is suing someone else, so
okay,
the plaintiff is the one who kind of was the party that supposedly got hurt and is now taking action against someone else. That is who we fund. The other side is called kind of like defense funding.
Right.
We don't do any of that. We just kind of focus on assisting the plaintiff.
Okay. So is there an example maybe recently or to help us understand a little better about, when we would use somebody like yourself or when we would use your services, maybe an example that's happened recently?
Sure thing. Let's just say, Jane Doe Apartments, this small syndicator or apartment owner owns a apartment complex. Let's just call it, it's 200 units, and a tenant, is barbecuing, and God forbid goes in, tries to, grab a drink, and next thing you know, that complex is now caught on fire, and God forbid, by the time the fire department or the sprinkler system or whatever caught, there's substantial damage done to that one building. So let's say 20 or 30 units now are taken out. That's, of course, not only, monthly income that has been taken out, now you got to go take care of your tenants. How are you going to replace them? Or, are you going to try and move them somewhere else? There becomes a lot of logistical and, financial issues that arise. So, you reach out to your insurance carrier. Let's just call them, big insurance company. And big insurance company might tell you, well, we don't think, Jane Apartments, you guys did a good job of abiding by the rules of the policy or something. There now starts to become, we don't think this is an insured event, or, yeah, it costs maybe $1 million to fix this building. We're only going to give you 300,000, 500,000. Then you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then the next thing, the first of the month is rolling around, and the bank says, hey, we want our monthly nut, and now issues arise. So we step in, assist Jane Doe Apartments to continue operation. And Jane Doe Apartments starts their lawsuit against the insurance company to recoup the money that they need. And we've now created that buffer where they can continue to operate, stay in business, not have to do a capital call, and keep that apartment complex up and running. So, God forbid, they don't have to fall into default or possible foreclosure and stuff like that. And then by us adding that time and that assistance, usually we've seen it, 9 times out of 10, some type of agreement is able to come out between, apartment owner / syndicator and insurance carrier.
Nice. Okay. Now that's a great example. I was thinking about, so you all are going to help fund that financial loss on a monthly basis as well, so we can keep operating, right? And then you're going to help fund, I guess, maybe hire a lawyer so I can do something,
exactly.
At least show the insurance company I'm serious here. Hey, we did follow the rules, or at least, try to fight that a little bit. Yeah, because
absolutely.
So go ahead.
Because it's the stress of, forget about, the mental stress of now, hey, what am I going to do to kind of take care of everybody, not including my investors, but, my tenants and so forth. Where am I going to, come up with this revenue that I've lost now? And, if it's a burnt down building, there's not really much you can do with that. So, we kind of, we understand the issues. We try to sympathize with our clients, and we come in there and we want to help them out. And it's been our experience. Sometimes large litigants or insurance companies try to use time as a weapon against real estate owners or just plaintiffs, because time is becoming your enemy, because every month that's going by you're losing more and more money, and then you come to the realization, well, I'm in a real tight spot. Do I take what they're putting on the table now, which is a substantial difference than what I really need to get me back, or what do I do? So we kind of just assist, and at the end of the day, the plaintiff and their lawyer, they're the captains of the ship. I mean, they decide, hey, is this a fair number to settle at or not, or we want to go to trial? Once we cut the check, we become kind of your biggest cheerleader on the sideline, and cheering you on to success. But we don't take any hands-on approach. That is, it's your case. And you with counsel need to make whatever you think is the appropriate decision.
Sure. So, how do owners find somebody like yourself if we're in that situation? How do I know about your type of business?
I mean, litigation finance is such, a small, there's not, I would say hundreds of us. We're a small group, of course, shameless plug, but hey, TownCenter Partners, we're they can always find us here in Northern Virginia, and we fund nationwide. But hey, you could do a Google search. You could talk to your lawyer, to your attorney, see, hey, I'm in this tough situation. Do you know of any litigation funders? And just do your due diligence. We take things as, we're not going to force you into anything. We try to be as open door policy with our clients. Hey, look, this is an expensive type of funding. It's if you have other options, hey, can you go borrow from friends or family, or get a bank loan? I would
Yeah,
always
I
tell
guess
people.
it keeps you from going bankrupt or having to call investors and say there's been a fire and I also need a check, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, someone is coming in and saying, "Listen, you're in a very, let's just call it a bad situation," and we don't point fingers at anyone or anything. And our goal is we want to get you across this finish line. And if things go as we hope it'll go, there's a cost for doing that.
Sure.
And then you'll repay us for that. But you know what? If things don't go as we plan, no harm, no foul. We took on that financial loss, while you, the client, would have had to take that financial loss on top of the loss of something being burnt down or whatever. But we try to help our clients as much as possible. If you look at our tagline is always, our mission is justice. So we're really trying to help folks, that just don't have that adequate financial firepower to kind of get across that finish line.
I mean, you're going to feel like they're in the right, or else you're not going to partner with them anyway, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is, 99.999% of our cases has always been, small plaintiff versus, Fortune 500, large insurance company, or some city or county that truly has done someone unjust or unfair for some reason. And we're going to come in here and level the playing field, and then let both parties go at it. And the client's in control. They need to make a decision. Hey, is this number fair? Is this type of action that the city or county is now going to let me do, is that fair? And they make that decision. So I mean, if you think about it, we try to we're giving the client best of all choices. We're almost like a partner coming in, but we're not really a partner. We're kind of just funding you and then letting you decide your future and how you want to take it forward from there.
Nice. What's the like most common real estate issues that you're dealing with, especially with large apartment communities? Is it mostly insurance? Is it mostly partners not getting along? Is it what's the most common thing?
I would say that number one and number two. Number one is insurance companies just not being upfront or trying to do the right thing with apartment owners. And predominantly, I would call these are, small apartment ownership groups. They don't have, thousands of units under their belt, and so forth. Yeah, that's where we've seen some insurance companies do really some, we would say, not ethical items, and just try to really stick it to those apartment owners. The other thing we've seen is a lot of either breach of contract issues. A prime example where we've done a couple scenarios is, let's say, John Doe contracts to buy an apartment complex. And John Doe has this good contract. It's at a good price, but then big apartment developer, big apartment owner comes and talks to the seller, saying, "Listen, I know you're trying to sell this deal to John Doe for $10 million. Why don't you call him or her on a technical default, and I'll wink, wink, buy the deal for you for $11.5 million. So you're going to put another $1.5 million in your pocket. And the seller might wrestle with that, be like, oh, man, do I really want to give up $1.5 million, or this, or is it, or the right thing? What I should do is, hey, I've got a contract with these folks, sell it and move on since I agreed. So we've stepped in and funded those situations.
Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, what I tell people is, just because this is a publicly traded company or a massive company, don't think, bad things are not done by companies of that size. Because at the end of the day, they're run by people. Greed sometimes makes people do not the most righteous things. And, if they can maybe, pull one over on a smaller company or some smaller individuals, we have seen that unfortunately happen. And that's kind of where we like to step in and say, pump the brakes. Well, we're gonna come here and let's see how we can help you. And then either we can try to close this transaction, or try to get you some type of reimbursement either from the seller and or that third party that came in and kind of messed up your deal.
What kind of, I guess, since you see so many of these cases, and unfortunately it's always somebody that's in a hard spot, right? I mean, they're in a hard spot financially, probably, if they want to go after this or make it right,
Correct.
And then also, they're just, it's going to be very stressful, all those things, because there's so much happening. And, so what are some ways, if that unfortunately happens to us, that, we need to be like documenting stuff, or we need to be taking photos, or we need to be, what are some ways maybe that would help us to be more prepared in that situation? Even, when we come to somebody like yourself to say, here, this is what we've got, and we felt, it's obvious that we're in the right, and we need to be able to do something about it. What are some suggestions?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think, the more, documentation you can show that, hey, there's been, email correspondence, or there's been some letters. Now, we at TownCenter, while I lead the team here, we do have a bunch of lawyers, but we don't practice quote unquote law here. We're not a law firm, so we never can give anyone any legal advice. But we're gonna internally review it and see the legal merits. But I would always tell anyone, if something is starting, either your gut's telling you something is a little bit fishy here, or the seller or the broker that you used to be able to get in touch with very easily now are starting to not respond to you, or you're now getting denied access to certain things, or you always kind of can see a very quick shift in change. Things were all lovey-dovey on Monday, but come Tuesday, Wednesday, who are you? And you're not returning my calls. So there's always some type of shift that happens. And then, from our experience, you can see, oh, well, now we know why the shift happened, because this third party on Saturday got into cahoots with the seller, and they said, hey, okay, Monday, I'm gonna, call him on this default, or here's quote unquote the scheme we're gonna start to implement. But I would say always, get in touch with, your lawyer. We've worked with some of the best law firms nationwide. If you could reach out to us, and we could just say, hey, go talk to this person. Again, we're not giving you any legal advice, but just at least someone you could talk to and assist. And we've done that also many times. We've had people reach out to us and say, listen, we really think you've been done wrong here. Why don't you go talk to lawyer XYZ? Lawyer XYZ works on a contingency fee. So they're only going to take, a percentage if you win this case. So go talk to them. You don't need us. Save yourself the money unless you really need the funding. But this lawyer, he or she's willing to work for free, and if they get a percent. And a lot of the clients have really appreciated that from us. I mean, our goal is, hey, listen, if we don't do something today, just good karma and putting it out there, hopefully it comes back to us and we've just helped someone out.
Right. Well, Roni, I'm thankful that I haven't been in this situation. But, so what else should I even be asking you? What does the listener need to know, from you right now so they're prepared for this situation? Or is there anything else that, other than know to call you, and document everything, anything else that they need to be aware of?
I would say just, just as you did your due diligence to put this deal under contract or to move this forward, keep everything professional. Like you said, document things, keep things on track. If something is not going, the course of business, take the appropriate actions. Talk to your lawyer. Do something, because the worst thing is, and it happens sometimes, people come to us be like, I tried to operate, on a handshake deal or, be upfront and honest with these folks, and now they shafted me. And then we're like, okay, stuff happens and that's not an issue, but you're always kind of, now you're working from, we're like 5-6 steps behind, because now we've got to be like, okay, well, the court or the judge might say, well, why didn't you take action when you saw this happen? Why did you kind of let this slide? It kind of, you've really got to kind of, paint a picture, for the court or for a jury to understand, well, I let this kind of slide because, I spoke to the seller and he told me don't worry about it and so forth. And it's okay. It's happened. Because at the end of the day, you subpoena, you get the emails, and it shows, hey, yeah, if he's telling him here it's okay, but now he's talking to this other client, oh, I'm telling him it's okay, and I'm playing on him, ha, 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 and, but, that's why sometimes, keep things in a very documented, organized fashion, because God forbid something goes incorrectly, you can say, hey, what's going on here? And, we hope no one is in a situation where they're getting sued and so forth. And, we think, sometimes when we step in, it makes people realize, oh, these might not be the case we kind of want to play around in. They're now in a much stronger financial position. And we've stepped in cases where, a case has been going on for 2-3 years. And then we've had like defense attorneys reach out to the plaintiff saying, hey, what's going on? How come things have changed? You've kind of really picked up the pace against us. You're subpoenaing this and so forth, because we step in and we're like, it's no joke. We want to turn up the heat. Let's get this thing going forward. Let's get you whole. Let's, let's put this thing into 6th gear, and get it moving forward. Because, we want to assist you. So we're not going to kind of, let's move things at a slow pace. We want to give you that financial firepower and let your attorney do what they're good at.
That's nice. It's just nice that, to know that like somebody like yourself, is available if we're in that position, if that unfortunately happens to us. But, to pivot just a little bit, Roni, in your all's business, is there a way that you all have recently improved your business or your operations that we could all apply to ours?
I would say we are, technology is so huge for us. Like, for example, we built a lot of software internally ourselves. Um, uh, we on kind of every 60 to 90 days, we sit down as a team and say, okay, what is out there that is assisting us? And it doesn't have to be quote unquote to, the legal field or anything like that. I mean, like, for example, we don't pick up our mail. Our mail comes into a secured offsite facility, it's scanned, then it's emailed to each appropriate individual. The same thing, like when we want to mail something out, we have a system we use where, we just type up our letter, upload it, and boom, it's mailed, printed, timestamp, date stamp. So we're really into tech. I mean, we love technology. Our phone system, the internalized systems we use, it's all cloud-based. So I would think, you've really, accept technology, try to be, review your systems.
What is do y'all use some kind of like task management system or a special way to communicate it within the team? Or what are a couple actual, is there a special app? What do y'all prefer?
For example, like the phone system that we use, we like to use Dialpad. We've been with them now for many, many years. From when they were actually, quote unquote, a part of Google, left Google and have now become a massive company. We use that for internal communications and also our own case management system. We can, like I can assign a task to Mark via our own case management system and so forth. Every day at 9 a.m. we sit down and have a daily team meeting. So again, we try and make sure everyone is on the same page. You really got to sit down and look at, hey, how is my system working right? How is it not working wrong? And if we're doing something incorrectly or we're not doing it as best as we can, okay, how can we do that? Okay, just like we recognize, hey, is it the best use of team members' time, going out getting mail or running to the post office and so forth? No, it's not. So we research. So every day we kind of that quarter we'll then say, okay, here are the kind of the things we want to research, and is there something out there that can take care of that for us?
Nice. And what's the one thing that's contributed to your success, Roni?
Teamwork and being let's see what's the best way to say it. Dealing sometimes folks are a little bit difficult to work with or deal with, and just understanding I think that comes maybe more with age than anything. I would say maybe a 20-year-old Roni would have been quick to make a response. But now, hey, people they're stressed, something personally could be going wrong with them, or hey, they're just, a difficult person. That's their way of communicating. Just understanding that and then, diffusing things sometimes maybe with humor. If someone is, being a little difficult,
Sure.
One of my kind of little taglines, I'll say, well, listen, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not following what you're saying. I took the short bus to school, so it's that Florida education, so assist me to kind of understand what you're saying, and I apologize, and that sometimes diffuses things and gets people calmed down.
That's a good skill. That's definitely a good skill. But before we have to go, tell the listeners how you like to give back.
We as a company, when we were formed, we kind of give back three ways. Way number one, we have a scholarship program for law students that about to finish law school, and they're going to take something called the bar. We'll pay for that. And then the two other programs that we love to work with, and we donate a portion of our profits to, is Hands Along the Nile and Orphans Africa. This is kind of helping a lot of orphanage children and kind of, folks that just need assistance, with bare necessities and so forth. I think it's, we as a team, we truly believe it's very important to give back and assist, and you kind of reap what you sow. And, we all, started from somewhere and grew, and, it's very important to help people.
Right.
And we try to, as a team, really focus on that.
Thanks for sharing that, Roni, and I really appreciate your time and being on the show. I know it's a place. You're someone that we hope we don't have to contact. I know, but we're going to be very thankful for if we do need to. But so thank you again for just explaining just what you do and how you can help us if we are in that situation. But tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Sure thing. Email address, it's Roni@yourtcp.com. The website is TownCenter Partners or yourtcp.com, and we're located in Northern Virginia. My office line is 703-570-5264. Again, 703-570-5264. And if we can ever be of service to assist in any way, it would be an honor or a pleasure.
Awesome. Roni, thank you again very much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the listeners being with us today and every day. I hope you'll go to LifeBridge Capital and connect with me. Sign up on the website, and so we can have a conversation, and I'll help you any way I can. And then go to the Real Estate Syndication Show on Facebook as well, so we can all learn from experts like Roni, grow our businesses together, and hopefully not have to not be sued in any way or have to sue anybody. So anyway, we'll see you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, Roni.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by LifeBridge Capital. LifeBridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. LifeBridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.